Hi, we're live at the sleep store today. I'm Louise, and today we're talking about white noise and about making up your baby's bassinet and cot, and we're going to show you off some of our lovely winter bedding and see how that all fits together. So first of all, we're going to show you our two most popular white noise machines. When I started the sleep store, quite a long time ago, about 11 years ago, nobody had heard of white noise in New Zealand, and people thought that I was completely mad when I played. I had a ghetto blaster in my son's bedroom, and I just played it on radio static, and it worked amazingly. Or I would use running water, take him into the bathroom and run the shower, or park him next to the dishwasher. And I had learned about white noise from Dr. Harvey Karp, who wrote The Happiest Baby on the Block. And fast forward 11 years, and now everybody knows about white noise, so I think that's pretty fabulous. So Dr. Karp talks about how inside the womb, when your baby's on the inside, it's louder than a vacuum cleaner. I do not know how they've measured this, but it's approximately 80 to 90 decibels inside the womb. A vacuum cleaner is about 70 decibels, and a lawnmower is about 100. So putting that in context, it's quite loud on the inside, and the white noise that your baby hears on the inside is continuous. It's the swooshing, it's the digestion, it's your heartbeat, it's listening to everything that's going on around. So when your new babies pop out, they're used to the loud continuous noise, and that's one of the reasons they freak out when you park them somewhere and it's quiet and then they scream. So when your new baby arrives, or when you're planning for your baby to arrive, setting up some white noise in your by your baby's bed, whether it's in your room or wherever, having some white noise is one of those essentials which will make the transition from the inside to the outside quite a bit easier. So there's lots of different things you can use for white noise. You can go old school like I did with radio static. It's free, most people have got radio, you can just give it a try, just off the station and shh kind of noise, and see how that goes. There's white noise CDs, there's lots of different white noise machines now. So we're just going to show you our two favourite ones. This here's the Marpac Hush, and this has been available in New Zealand, available worldwide for about 6 months, and it's just very, very quickly become the most popular white noise machine that we sell. I'd say it's probably the top selling white noise machine in New Zealand now. I don't know that for a fact, but I know that we sell probably 5 times more of this than any other white noise machine, and we probably sell quite a lot of the white noise machines in New Zealand. So the Marpac Hush is made by Marpac, who are famous for this beast of a machine here. This is a Marpac Dome, and this is a Marpac Hush. So your key differences is that the Dome, it makes mechanical white noise. So it has a machine inside that whirs around and generates a nice white noise, and the Hush is recorded white noise. So that's your kind of difference when you're comparing machines. Are they generating the white noise, or is it pre-recorded? So I'll just play them for you. So the Dome plugs in. It's quite compact for travelling, but you always need a plug, so it's not for like in the car or at a picnic or when you're camping. It's for motels or grandmas, or for using at home. A lot of adults use the Dome for tinnitus or insomnia. It was primarily designed as an adult machine, and then it was so popular with using it with babies that's now what it's sold for. So that's your Dome. I have one of these at home that Eddie has used solidly for 6 years. They are one of the most unbelievably reliable products that we have ever sold, and Eddie, still at age 6, loves it, and he always he asks for it if I don't put it on, and some mornings he doesn't wake up until I switch it off. So I'll go in at 7:30 and he's still out for the count. So Dome, you can't go wrong with a Dome, but if you want something portable and if you want something louder, then the Hush is what you need. So hold it on. Hope it works when you're live on Facebook. So you do have to hold it in for a few seconds. Hold the top button in, wait a few seconds, it comes on, and this has got volume control, which the Dome doesn't. down to really faint. So, you know, some babies, particularly when they're new, they will need the white noise quite loud. You don't have to stick it right, you know, next to the head. It's not a right by the head machine. You can put it, you know, anywhere. And you can use the little doodah that comes with it to attach it, you know, onto your pushchair, your car seat, or wherever your baby's sleeping, which is a handy little feature. It also, the Hush has 3 sounds. That's your white noise. That's your other white noise. They do have technical names which I do not remember. And that's your nice ocean sounds. To remind you of a tropical holiday before you had a crying newborn. Like that. What about the baby shusher? Oh, it's about the difference between the Hush and the baby shusher. So the baby shusher sounds like shushing. Oh look, here's one we prepared earlier. Thank you, Susan. So both small, both portable. The shusher runs on batteries, which is handy if you're, I guess, travelling and you don't have electricity. You can replace the batteries in the shusher. In the Hush, it comes with a what is it called? A lithium battery?
Rechargeable.
A rechargeable. We'll go for the non-technical term of rechargeable battery. And you charge your Hush like you charge your beloved mobile phone. So the same micro USB, it comes with one, but you can use your phone charger to charge your Hush. So the only time this is not helpful is if you go camping for a really long time and you don't have any way of charging with the micro USB, then your shusher would be good. Also the sound is different, so shusher is more shushing. So the shusher just keeps shushing like that, and it runs on a timer. I think it's, I would need to check, but I think it's about 20 minutes that it runs for, and then it switches off. Because it runs on batteries, if it ran continuously, you'd go through a set of batteries a day. The Hush, it will run continuously. It has no timer function, so it just runs until you turn it off. So that's your kind of biggest difference, is how it's powered and how long it'll run for. So the Hush will run, if it's fully charged and you unplug it from the cable, it will run 12 hours or so. The factors that influence how long it runs for is how loud you have it. It took Matt to tell me that actually that volume used up batteries quicker. It's a bit thick on that, but there's some information on our website. The louder you play it, the shorter the battery life on it, and also if you use the little night light, which is really tiny and doesn't really, oh there it is, doesn't really do anything. It's too small you can't use it to feed by, or you could use it to find your baby if you held it right up by your baby's head. But if you use the light and you play it really loud, it will last for a lot shorter. If you have it just on Be Quietly, without the light, it will easily last all night. Or you can just have it running plugged in by the bed. How loud should the Hush be? Can it be too loud? Thank you, Susan. I think if you need it loud to settle your baby, just have it away from your baby. Don't have it with the cable. No cables by the cot. It's the #1 safety thing. No cables, nothing, no strangling things. So have it at this end of the cot and have your baby down here if you need it loud. Just don't have it loud right by the ear. And bear in mind that your baby's used to 80 to 90 decibels, pressed up against where the noise is coming from. You might want to play it loud until your baby stops crying. Play it until they're asleep, and then turn it down. You know, and for after night feeds, maybe you play it loud to get them back to sleep for 5 minutes, and then go back to bed, and then turn it down to a volume that you can enjoy it all night. The same as if you are using old school white noise, i.e. shushing. You know, you can go shh, 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 and your baby will probably carry on screaming. But if you get it up here and go shh, that's what stops them crying. I learned that from Dr. Carp. It does really work. It makes a massive difference. So in terms of can it be too loud, if you were playing it at 100 decibels right next to your baby's ear, that would be too loud. If it's a reasonable way away and it's loud for a short period and then turn it down, that's absolutely fine. You can look into it. There's research papers and so on, but Dr. Carp's advocated for using white noise with babies for 30 years, and you know, he's one of the leading paediatricians in the States, and we'll go with what he says. Okay, so that is white noise. If there's any other white noise questions, flick them through and Susan will answer them. Or oh, there's one, but wait, there's one coming.
Can you turn on the hush so they can hear it compared to the shush?
Oh, okay, you want a live comparison, a shush off. Classic. I wonder if that's the volume or the It's funny listening to the one after another. Shush. Come back on. I have to turn it off. It's loud. That's at its loudest. Yeah. So you can just see this shh, shh, shh. This is kind of intermittent, like you'd shush. Because if you shush twice, you'd hyperventilate and keel over. So this is your continuous, and it can go louder. This shushes on and off, runs for 20 minutes. Or there's another one, just to confuse you, called the Roam. It looks just like this, but it's white and it has a different name. And it doesn't have the little green thing, and it doesn't have the little night light, which is not very helpful. Apart from that, they're the same. We get that question every day. Are they the same? Yes, pretty much. Okay, so now we're going to look at baby's bedding and how to make up a bassinet or a cot. So here's a bassinet Georgie prepared earlier. This is the bed nest. The sides can fold down to have it next to your bed, or you can use it as is. So we're big fans of just keeping a bassinet really simple. As a new parent, you have enough to do and you'll have enough washing. But I remember thinking, oh, there's not much washing, where's all the washing? And then when they start having exploding poos and they spew and leak, and you go through quite a lot of changes. So we're just going to show you a really simple way, so you just kind of have the bare minimum and then you can add more if you need it.
I'm going to ask you to do it that way, Louise, so we can see you a bit better.
Okay.
So we can get some nice light on you.
Okay, so under your mattress, it's a good idea to have something warm. There's been academic studies, I think it was through Cambridge University, who showed that sleeping on wool, babies who slept on wool grow quicker, settle faster, sleep better. I don't have all the details. We can look them up for you if you need this, you know, all the academic information. But so basically, sleeping on wool is a good idea for your baby, but not sleeping on like fluffy sheepskin, which attracts dust mites. You can't machine wash it, and it's fluffy and soft, so it can be a SIDS risk. So this is a new product for us this year, which we developed after having lots of discussions with safe sleep people and knowing what we know about sleeping on wool, and it's called our quilted wool topper. So you can see, Georgie will zoom in, you can see it's quite thin, but it is wool filling. So it was based on the quilting that's in our Wool Babe sleeping bags. We were like, if you could just make a mattress hopper, it was like a Wool Babe, it would be cozy and it would be safe because it's firm. So it adds a little bit of cushioning, but not really. It's designed just to give you the benefit of the sleeping on the wool. So your mattress, this mattress here is actually slightly too small. Your mattress should go firmly to the end of your bassinet, and there's your topper there. So you can see it's the same firm surface as the mattress or a sheet by itself. And then you put I put the sheet on underneath. You can imagine it. No, I'll do it. So here's your mattress. Some people will use some kind of waterproof mattress protector as well. So I would go, if it was me, I would go the waterproof mattress protector, so just covering the mattress. Then I'd go your wool topper. so the wool's as close to your baby as possible. And then a fitted sheet. I'm not very experienced at making beds, I don't do it very often. So lazy with housework. Okay, so there it is, and you can see that one's just a little bit small. So that's the inside of a bassinet. Clear, no fluffy things, no fluffy surfaces. The surface should be smooth and firm. Then here's my baby that I prepared earlier, who's been shushed off a very nice sleep. Good night, baby. Okay, so toes to the bottom of the cot is just a good rule of thumb, so that they are less likely to wriggle down under the bedding. If you put your baby this way and there's all the bedding here, there is a chance they can wriggle down. So just good rule of thumb is foot to the feet of the cot. And then if it's warm, that's really all you need. Babies don't have to be tucked in. They don't need sheets and blankets and everything else. Often, particularly in summer and this time of the year, just the swaddle is plenty. Just vary the amount of clothing you've got so that baby doesn't get too hot. Use the right weight of swaddle for the season. And just use the back of your hand to check if your baby's too hot or cold. If they're red and sweaty, they're too hot. This is also a good rule of thumb. And if they feel cold, they're probably too cold. But if they just feel comfortable or a little bit cool, cool is fine. I think it's a real tendency for people to make their babies' rooms too hot, and they make their babies too hot, and babies are sort of red and clammy and overheated. So that for this time of the year, that is plenty. If you do want a blanket, personally, when we asked around in the office, none of us use top sheets with our babies. We just use the fitted sheet, the swaddle, and then if we needed, a blanket. So if you do need a blanket for extra heat, go about to armpit height and tuck it in firmly. So you're not having anything up by, so that's kind of armpit, chest height there, feet to the bottom, and that's it. So it's just a very simple, light blanket. Nothing puffy. Definitely no quilts. Definitely no duvets. Simple, 100% natural fibres with new babies only. So we don't sell anything that's polyester for new babies. No polar fleece, no nylon, nothing quilted with polyester inside it for this age. So this is our Merino Fleece. You can see the lovely fluffy back of the blanket. If you've used one of our merino onesies, that's the same fabric as the onesies. It's so plush. So that's a good one. You can use it in the buggy or in your bassinet. Double it over if it's cold. Another one from our sleep store range is this beautiful one. This is ginormous. You can use this for swaddling. So for a winter baby, you can do your old school swaddle with this one. You can also wrap your granny in it. My mother-in-law was staying, and I had the sample one of these at home, and she was like, oh, please can I have one of those? It makes the perfect granny rug. So they are big enough to use as a cot blanket. They're a great size for swaddling. You can double it over and use it on a bassinet. And that's 100% superfine merino rib, same as our pyjamas and our singlets and our bodysuits, if you have seen any of those. And the other one that we wanted to show you, which is I think my current favourite for a bassinet, it doesn't really coordinate, but you could just imagine, this is our Wool Babe blanket. So same as our Wool Babe sleepwear and sleeping bags, slightly smaller than the crazy large grey merino one. So it feels like a thick t-shirt weight, but it's got 30% merino in it, so some extra, a little bit of extra warmth and some extra kind of temperature regulating properties. So again, just double it over, pop it over your swaddle, and just a really nice simple blanket to tuck your baby in. So I think the tucking in is more for us than the baby doesn't need the tucking in, the baby's tucked in with its swaddle. There you go. Yeah, so they're huge and they're 100% merino. and they're a really really high quality super fine merino, so they are really soft and smooth. So you can see as a swaddle it's quite large, but it easily fits over a cot or a granny. Okay, so we will move on now to looking at cot bedding and what you need, and we'll show you some things that we've got that are new. So we've had our own range of wool bedding for I think 2 or 3 winters now, but this year's got some really exciting new products, including the bassinet topper, which I think the bassinet topper is only $49. We made it as cheap as we could because we think you all should have one. This is our new reversible wool underlay. I'll just be down in the corner snuggling with it. So this is like a traditional sheepskin, but it's machine washable. You can tumble dry it. I have done a lot of machine washing and tumble drying. We've tested it a lot. It really is designed to just be used and washed, and it's easy care. I did have a wool underlay with one of my kids that was dry clean only, and within about a week it had been peed on, and then it just sat in the corner in the laundry looking at me saying take me to the dry cleaners, which I never did. So yeah, machine washable is essential. So the idea with this product is that if you do go straight into the cot with a newborn, it's firm. When you have it tucked in, it's smooth and firm, and it won't be puffy, which can be a sid's risk with newborns. So use it on the cotton side with a newborn, or in the summer if you want the benefits of sleeping on wool but you don't want the feel of the wool for your little one. So you can use it either side. In the winter you definitely want the snuggy side up, and it's just got elastic straps to be really simple. Oh, and again we've got the sheet underneath, so we'll just imagine we've got another sheet. Is that another cot sheet over there? Yeah, I'll just grab that.
Okay.
Whoops. Without tripping over my just going to show you this beautiful new cot sheet. It's not a sleep store one, but it's a brand that we're going to be stocking soon, so we'd love you to tell us what you think of them. It's a colleague of ours from Australia has started this new brand called Little Turtle Company. How delicious is that sheet? It's really gorgeous jersey cotton. It's a really thick, lush fabric. So we're going to try out the little turtle sheet for size. Whoops, probably should check it was the right size before I'm live putting it on the cot. But I think it's so cute. So we will be stocking this brand in the next month or so when I get round to placing an order. So if you check out their website, Little Turtle Company, and if there's anything you fancy, let us know. Okay, so as with the bassinet, simple is best, particularly when you're first using a cot. So here's my baby. So if you're going straight into a cot with a newborn, they can look a little bit tiny down, you know, feet to the foot of the cot, and there's all this cot, but this is the safest way down the bottom. So again, I'm going to trip over my pack. If you are using a blanket because it's cold or because you just really feel like you should be tucking your baby in, just use your blankets. You can use them sideways so there's more to tuck in. Oh look, it matches perfectly. And again, just up to armpit height, not too high, so you don't have the bedding anywhere near your baby's face. Oopsie, sorry baby, I squished your toes. The toes were a little bit close. So that's if you're going with a newborn straight into a cot, that's pretty much all you need. Something nice and warm underneath. Again, waterproof mattress protector under the wool. Fitted sheet. Something light to tuck them in. So this kind of thing for this time of the year is really good because it's just light. It's not going to cause any sort of overheating. Any questions about that? Send them through. So then as your babies get bigger, they'll move out of their swaddle and they'll move into a sleeping bag. So we'll just show you what that looks like if you're not familiar with the sleeping bag. It's going to be fun to clean up all of this later. So once your baby's out of swaddling and you've got rid of any loose blankets, it's time to go into a sleeping bag. And choose a sleeping bag that's warm enough so you don't need anything extra. The benefits of a sleeping bag come from using something that's warm enough so there's no loose bedding, there's nothing to kick off, and there's nothing to wriggle down underneath. And once you're in a sleeping bag, you don't actually need to worry about feet to the foot of the cot. Babies will wriggle where they want to sleep. If they're really tiny, and you can always tuck that under if you want to, but you can just pop your baby in the sleeping bag down in the cot, and that's all you need. So that's our duvet weight wool, babe. So that's warm enough for down to about 14 degrees. And then just use, more layers of clothes underneath, like a little all-in-one merino or cotton is best, or these are a blend half and half. If you're somewhere really, really cold, you could use one of our little onesies inside a sleeping bag. Or if you've got a lighter weight sleeping bag and you don't know if you want to buy a winter weight sleeping bag, you can always use a warmer onesie.
Lots of questions.
Oh my goodness, I hope I know the answer. Okay, can you use the woolly side up for a 12-week-old? I wouldn't if it was me. I think that the SIDS risk is really 0 to 6 months. If it was me, and if you're following, the safest sleep guidelines, I'd use the firm side for the first 6 months, and then after that, go with your instincts. And also balance it with, if you've gone through all the SIDS risk factors, like your breastfeeding, your baby sleeps in their own space, baby wasn't prem, what else, no smoking or any of those factors, then, maybe go a little earlier, but for me, I would stick with the 6 months. Okay, is the wool underlay suitable for eczema kids? Use it with the cotton side up. Susan's our resident eczema expert. What is your verdict of a wool underlay with eczema kids?
Yes, both my girls use it and it's fine because you've got the sheet against the skin.
Did you hear that? Okay, so just make sure you've got cotton against the skin. Susan's kids are serious eczema kids, and if they can use a woolly underlay, your kids will be fine. Choose our organic cotton bedding for the softest sleep surface. Goodness me. Okay, is the wool underlay a waterproof protector too? That is a good question. It doesn't have like a PU layer. We had the option of making them with a waterproof layer, and we didn't because we wanted them to be 100% natural. So wool is quite protecting, but it's not the same as a waterproof layer, if that answers your question. So wool will absorb some pee, but if there's a lot of liquid, it will still go through eventually. But the thing that wool does is even when it gets wet, it stays warm, which you'll find with the Wool Babe sleeping bags. If you get a leaky nappy and baby's kind of wet, quite often they will just carry on sleeping all night because the wool stays warm, whereas if it's just a cotton or a polyester bag, it will get wet and stinky and cold, and then they will wake up. Would they fit a standard size porta cot? Susan thinks that referred to the underlay. That would require me to know off the top of my head what size
We can find out and post an answer to that later if you like. We
could, yes, we've got a standard size porta cot in here. It will be bigger, and you would need to tuck it in, which then would mean it wasn't flat, and you're not really meant to add anything extra to a porta cot. For it to comply with the safety standard, it needs to use the base that comes with the porta cot. So if it was me and I was wanting to have my baby as safe as possible, I would probably choose something like this and put that around the base of your porta cot so that it's going to still fit really firmly, and it's not going to have any extra padding. It's with porta cots, it's the safety risk is between the side of the travel cot and the mattress, and the fact that the travel cots move, babies can get wedged in that gap. So you don't want anything that lifts the layer of the mattress. So something really thin is your safest bet. I didn't want a safety briefing, so I wanted the question answered. But there you go. What thickness of blanket do you recommend for winter? Well, that's a $64 million question. It depends how cold the room is. Always comes back to how cold is the room, and are you using a heater, or what layers of bedding, and are you using a sleeping bag? If you're using a sleeping bag, you don't need any blankets. If it's winter time and you're using a bassinet, which I've filled up with all this stuff, I would start with something like one of our merinos. Both of them you can use with a newborn. That doubled over is plenty. It's plenty big enough. Same with this one. She could almost go 4. I think I used this size, like doubled over and then over again. So something like this is going to be plenty. And then you just need to layer the clothing underneath the blanket. There's some schools of thought that suggest using layers and layers and layers of blankets will help your baby sleep better. We don't subscribe to that. I think make sure that your baby's core is warm with like a merino singlet, merino pajamas, wool sleeping bag, and then just go from there. How to use the Love to Dream and a wool babe? We get that question all the time. We need to make a video of that. I think the Love to Dream is designed to be used with the Love to Dream. It's just a fitted swaddle, it has its arms up, and now the Love to Dream make a winter weight Love to Dream. So the safest, best option, if you like the arms up, is to get the 2.5 tog Love to Dream, and then that's all you need. Just layer your clothing inside. If you have a baby that, if you've already got a wool sleeping bag and you're wanting to start using it, you've got 2 options. One is the Sleepy Wings, which, Susan, please can you pop a link to Sleepy Wings? It's a little like bolero where you can have the arms up or down, and you wear it so it fits around the outside of the sleeping bag. So that's a really good option to use with your wool babe. If you want to use your Love to Dream just as a brief kind of transition to using your sleeping bag, put the sleeping bag on first, and then I don't have a Love to Dream handy, but then you put the swaddle over the top, unzip the bottom of the swaddle and pull the sleeping bag out. So you'll have the top half of the swaddle with the arms in the swaddle, and then you'll have all of this coming out the bottom of the swaddle. So we never recommend putting the swaddle on the inside of the sleeping bag. It's not safe because the arms need to come through the armholes of the sleeping bag. They should not be in a swaddle inside, because the baby could potentially wriggle around inside the bag and get stuck. Right. Any more questions, Susan? But wait, she's coming back. Okay, so we might, oh no, oh my goodness, another whole page. Okay, do they come in queen size?
The Underlay.
The Underlay, yes they do. They go up to New Zealand King because we all wanted one, so we made them in King. And our wool duvets, which we'll show you in a sec, also go up to king size. Do we sell toddler pillows? Yes, we do. I'll show you. Yeah. We best move the baby and get the toddler. Whoopsie, don't put the pillow over your baby's head. Don't drop the baby.
That was awesome.
We highly recommend not dropping your baby, but we do recommend throwing the linen on the floor. That works really well. You go back to sleep in there. So this is our toddler pillow here. This is a Sleep Store toddler pillow that we designed ourselves. So it fits a standard size pillowcase, which for me was always like the most annoying thing about toddler pillows, is that they need little fiddly pillowcases that you can never buy. So this is a normal size pillowcase, but it's a really low profile pillow. So you can use this from about 18 months or 2 years. You can use it in the cot like this. It's not going to go anywhere. It fits really well. You don't need to use a pillow at any age. It's more when your child starts to ask for it. Or what I found a pillow with a toddler really helpful was get your toddler and then say, lie down on your pillow. It's like, lie down on your pillow. It's quite a good mantra when they're being really difficult. Lie down on your pillow. Or I think one of mine started with a pillow when he'd had some kind of chesty thing and he was sleeping a bit better, slightly elevated. So a toddler pillow should be low is the key thing, and not moving around is also a good idea. So here's our toddler. So this guy's about a 2-year-old. So once your child's 2, they can go into using a pillow and a duvet. Oh, it's a warm duvet. Having said that, a lot of 18-month, 2-year-olds still sleep in sleeping bags. Of our wool babes, we sell probably at least 25% are toddler size, more like probably 30% are toddler size, so that's a lot of 2-year-olds who are still sleeping beautifully in their wool babes. You can keep using a sleeping bag in the bed. It can be really good for the transition. You don't need to move them into a duvet just because they're going into bed. Now I will just point out that this cot is that's on the higher setting.
Yeah.
It's on the higher setting so I can demonstrate. If you're using it with a toddler, obviously you'd have it on the lower setting. So this is our sleep store duvet with our own duvet cover. So you can tuck it in at the end if you want, or if you're a bit lazy like me, you'll just poke it. There you are. That's our beautiful organic duvets that come with, do they come with a pillow? The bigger bed size ones come with a pillow case, the cot ones just come plain. And inside that duvet is this. And this is our other new product for winter. This is what we've called our all seasons duvet pack. So you get a 200-gram duvet inner and a 400-gram inner. And if you live down the deep south and it's freezing, you can use both together. In most places in New Zealand and Australia, you wouldn't actually need to use the two together. It would probably be too warm. But it's designed so that for those people who do live somewhere really cold, or who just like to use really light bedding, you can use them together. But then you've got your summer weight and the rest of the year weight. If one gets peed on, you can swap. So you've always got one handy. And we've had some amazing feedback about how snuggly and warm they are. So those are 100% cotton on the outside and pure wool inside. The wool comes from Europe. It's English and French and Belgian wool inside. And that the reason it's European wool is that the factory that we chose to work with makes for a lot of European department store chains. They make all the bedding for John Lewis in the UK. They're a really high-end bedding factory. And so that's the wool that they use, so that's what we went with.
What size do they go up to, Lou?
Oh, they go up to king size as well. I have one on my bed. Actually, in the clip together one, it's just cot size. The 400-gram winter weight, that comes in all sizes up to king. And if you like the clip together one, we will make it in big sizes next year. Okay. What if it's warm when they go to bed and then gets cold? I always have this problem. I'm feeling that problem now. It's boiling in here. So I think it depends what age you're talking about. If it's a sleeping bag, we often get that question with sleeping bags. My advice is always to dress your kids for the coldest part of the night and then leave the window open or have a fan on to try and cool the room down. It's far easier for you as a parent who wants to sleep to cool it down before you go to bed and then shut the window, turn off the fan and go for the coldest part of the night. If there's a massive variation, that can be harder, and maybe you need to swap the sleeping bag that you're using, you know, at 11 o'clock at night or something if you can. If you're getting your baby up to feed them, you can always put them back to bed in a warmer weighted bag, or have them just in a onesie at bedtime and then put the bag on later. Again, I wouldn't really go for putting blankets and things over your sleeping bag because that gets away from the safety benefits of the sleeping bag. What else? Are those sleeping bags safe for babies that stand up and walk around? That's an interesting question. So if you're using a sleeping bag in a cot and the child is climbing out of the cot, I would not use it. It could be a tripping hazard. If the child is, you know, you've got your cot on the lower setting and they're trying to escape, you should totally take off the sleeping bag. You could swap to a onesie. which go up to size 10. Your 10-year-old would not be climbing out of the cot. They'd be climbing a tree wearing the onesie. But that's a perfect option for what comes after a sleeping bag. Come in about 7 colours, or there's grey and navy, and then lots of colours of trim because we just couldn't stop and we kept adding more on. Like Georgie did insist we get the orange, and it is very cool. It is proving to be one of the most popular options. You do win. So that's our onesies. They're a really good option for climbers, or once you go into a bed. The other option is the lovely Ergo Pouch sleep suits, which convert from a sleeping bag to a sleep suit. You can just dome them around the legs. So dome or zip? Zip around the legs. And so, you know, they come in like an 8 to 24 month size, or a 2 to 4 year. So once you start getting to the walking around stage, you can swap it over. If you've got bigger kids sleeping in a bed, then my advice would be to teach them how to take it off. You may want them to leave it on, but if they are walking around, definitely teach them how to take it off, because yeah, they could trip. I think kids can master walking in a sleeping bag, but it's not a good idea. Okay, and do you have wool on top rather than under the waterproof mattress protector? For me, I like to have the wool as close to my kids as possible. So, but it depends really. It depends how much bedwetting you get in your house. Would be if it's very rare that you have a spill or a leak, then I would just use the wool under the fitted sheet. They're easy to wash and they're quick to dry. If you have, like I have, one of my kids is a serial bedwetter, and we've had so much bedding peed on over the years that I use one of our Sleep Store waterproof mattress protectors over his wool underlay. So that's like a jersey cotton top with the waterproof breathable backing, and they feel like just sleeping on a fitted sheet, but they stop the pee getting on what's underneath. So yeah, I think either way works fine. Just go with, be guided by how often you need to do your washing, because we hate doing washing. Thank you very much. Okay, next. Do the Sleep Store cot duvet covers fit the fairy down cot? Yes, they do. So our duvets are 100 by 130, the same as fairy down. And all our Sleep Store covers and our Snuggle Bum covers will fit both brands of inner. What do you recommend for a 2-year-old in a bed who kicks off blankets? I think we did just cover those. So a onesie or an Ergo Pouch sleep suit, or put them back in a sleeping bag. If they've only recently come out of a sleeping bag and you've still got a sleeping bag, just put them back in that and see how that goes, as long as they're not walking around, because we said don't do that. And that's all. Well, thank you for listening to me burbling on once again, and to Susan and Georgie for being our technical team. And if you have any more questions about the white noise we talked about first, or the bassinet or the cot bedding, just pop them down and we'll come back to you later. See you later.